What is going on, everybody? It's Hunter with LS Lures, and it is Tackle Tip Tuesday again. Today we're going to be talking about pretty much the versatility of our Midwest flipping jig. In clean water, here in Nebraska, we're in post-spawn. There's a bunch of different things you can do right now, and our Midwest flipping jig is an absolutely awesome tool to swim down the bank, to fish deep, to fish shallow, to fish that in-between. The fish are moving around. You can catch them doing a bunch of different things, and this video is a really good way, or really good kind of breakdown of 3 different ways I like to fish it, a couple different things I like to do and look for. We're going to jump back and forth between a couple different moments on the water the other day where I caught them pretty dang good doing a couple different things, and just really show you guys like what I like to look for, how I like to fish it, how I like to shake it and move it there and catch a bunch of different fish.
All the way up to the boat. Just spot locked because this corner sets up really good.
All right, guys, part 1 of this Tackle Tip Tuesday and fishing around with the Midwest flipping jig in cleaner water is fishing windblown corners or pockets. Whether that's a cutback in a creek arm, whether that's a pond corner that's got some wind blowing into it. Anytime you've got wind in clear water, it's a really great way to get those fish kind of off their guard. That wind breaks up your profile a little bit. It pushes a lot of bait in those corners, and it's a really good way to find active fish that want to bite, where it takes a lot less convincing. And you can really get on some big ones too when they're actively feeding like this. Here we've got a little corner. It's got a bunch of wind blowing back into it. It's got a little bit of a drop from the bank down to the actual bed of the lake. That's got a ton of grass in it, and that's exactly where this fish was sitting. It's a great spot to swim a jig up on top of that little flat and then hop it off that drop where that grass is, rip it out, and there's usually a ton of fish sitting there. Breaking this down, if I was just pulling up to the spot, typically I'd start further off, cast that jig around, rip it around that grass that in clear water is almost always there, and then push up closer to the bank, flip that wood, swim it around. You don't ever have to pick up another rod most of the time, especially on northern bass. They're always eating a jig, and this is a great way to catch a lot more fish. Part 2 of this video and fishing clean water with a Midwest flipping jig is the fact that I can swim it. I swim this jig a ton. I throw it honestly more than I throw a swim jig just because I can do so much with it. As you're about to see here, I'm giving it that Alabama shake. It gives it a lot of action. The keel on that head lets that jig really kind of flare up and gives it a ton of really natural action there. I'm throwing a kicking trailer, but it's a great jig in clean water to burn down the bank, flip it every piece of wood, swim it around every piece of grass, skip it, swim it, flip it, whatever you want. As you're about to see here, I flip right into the crease of this tree. Most of the population of fish in this lake don't live on the wood, but there's a couple great big ones that pull up every now and then. So this is a great jig. As you saw, I just missed him right there. I got a little excited, but it's a great jig to flip in there, comb through it really quick, and then keep swimming it right down the bank. Just got him that time. I saw him swim off, put it right on his nose again, and he came back and ate it. This was a really nice one, and it just really shows how versatile that jig is, where I can swim it down the bank. I don't have to pick up another rod. If you don't want to buy a bunch of different jigs, this Midwest flipping jig is a really good one to flip around, swim it, skip it, drag it, do whatever you want, and it's going to get bit everywhere.
One thing with this grass, right now we're throwing a 1/2 ounce. Water's really clear, so that 1/2 ounce lets it shoot down. They don't get quite as good a look at it. Oh, there's one. Good one. Come here. Yeah, so as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by this dude. 1/2 ounce swamp tongue jig, not a giant, but a decent enough one. We're fishing, there's a thicker patch of grass right out here with some brush mixed into it. And we're throwing that 1/2 ounce jig, just kind of really popping it through there. Sometimes you can get away with the 3/8, but that 1/2 ounce falls a lot quicker. So when you're really ripping it out of that grass, it falls a lot faster. So A, you get to kind of cover a lot more water a lot quicker there. B, you get kind of that reaction bite sometimes too, which is really sweet when they're being kind of weird. If they're being stingy, you can jump down to a 3/8, but I really like just ripping that 1/2 ounce as hard as I can. Seems like you get a lot of really big bites. So this is what we're looking at right now. I don't know if you guys can see that all right, but just a great big mangled pile of grass. It's got some brush in it that they dumped in here, and we were just ripping that jig, letting it fall down into it, popping it out, And I mean, if they're hungry, they're going to come up and smoke it. If even if they're not, sometimes ripping it past their face is just a good way to get that reaction bite. Like I said, you just got to watch your line. Like that one I ripped all the way up. That line jumped. You just got to reel down and smoke them as quick as you can.
So like you guys saw there, ripping a jig out of that deeper grass is a really, really good way to get some good bites. It's a super effective way to cover a ton of water. You don't have to be super precise with it all the time. You can be as precise as you want and really hone in on thicker patches. Or if you're fishing big carpeted areas where there's grass everywhere, it's one of those awesome things where if they won't eat a moving bait like a bladed jig, you can kind of fan cast around with that jig and really pick off a bunch of fish that are out there roaming. It's a great way when, you know, that sun gets high and they really start to kind of bury themselves into that grass, to rip it out and really get that reaction bite from those fish to come up and grab it, whether they're hungry, whether they're not. One of my favorite things to put on the back is some kind of kicking trailer, whether that's a rage craw, some kind of chigger craw, anything like that, that's going to A, slow that fall a little bit, and B, have just a little bit more draw power so that those fish that are down in that grass and that super clear water, when you rip it up, it gives them something to come look at. First of all, that jig ripping in itself is going to make them come look at it. But second, if it's got something kind of kicking off the back, it's a really good way to pick up a couple extra bites. It's a super effective technique all summer long. The thicker that grass is, the more fish it'll typically hold. So if you catch one, make a bunch of casts that same area, because oftentimes you can catch 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, sometimes even more fish out of one clump that's really heavy. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. A really good kind of breakdown of fishing that deeper grass like I really like to do all summer long here in Nebraska and the lakes that have it. Bouncing back and forth between shallow, some of those corners, fishing the wind, fishing off the bank, all those different things, all with the same jig the whole time. Catching a bunch of different fish, setting the hook hard, boat flipping, everything like normal. But like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun stuff and things. Let me know below. Give me a comment what you guys want to see in the future. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to do Tackle Talk Tuesdays or Tackle Tip Tuesdays, whatever you want. We're just going to be trying to put out a lot more content for you guys. Making videos has been a ton of fun. I want to promote how awesome our jigs is. I want to show you guys they catch fish, and I want to help you guys catch as many fish as possible this year, next year, for the rest of your freaking lives. And fishing a jig is a really great way to do that and catch a lot bigger ones. So we'll see you guys next time, next week, next video, whatever that is, and have a great rest of your whatever until we see you next time.